Welcome to Discovery Watch with John Kaiser.
I'm your host, Jim Goddard. John, welcome back to the show.
Jim, after struggling with the help of Air Canada to get back into the office here, I'm very happy to be able to be here on the show.
Glad you got both feet safe on the ground.
Yes, we almost got airborne without the ability to actually land properly.
Oh, yeah, you'd have to land Flintstone style. Last weekend, you participated in the Metals Investor Forum in Vancouver, where the mood was glum about the resource juniors stuck in the 8th year of a bear market. Discovery Watch is now well into its 3rd year. Is it time to give up watching the resource juniors?
Well, Jim, there's this graphic out there called the sentiment cycle, which has this bottom part of despondency and hopelessness. And we thought we had hit that in 2015, and in 2016 we had that surprise turnaround. Unfortunately, it only lasted until August of 2016. That was a great period. That's when I picked Arizona Mining at 35 cents, and last year it got bought out for $2.1 billion at $6.20. That was the best discovery that we have had since the bear market began in 2011. And now we are back in this sense of, will this ever end? When gold peaked at 1900 in late 2011, it began a descent, and it stayed in a channel that's been sideways forever. And gold really is the best driver for the juniors. When gold is trending up, that provides cover for everything that doesn't go right. And in the junior resource sector, most of the time, things do not go right. Discovery exploration is about finding something that hasn't already been found, and that means putting in a lot of capital, putting in a lot of work to generate the target, testing it, seeing whether it's even when it appears to be discovery, it just might not be good enough, doing feasibility demonstration work to show that it can be a mine. This is a space where it is very easy to lose money. Contrast cannabis, where you have this idea that everybody's going to be eating cannabis-derived substances or smoking cannabis. It's already legal in Canada. It'll eventually be legal in the United States. It's a trend that's growing. The regulators, you can't really say anything untruthful about your cannabis story because there is nothing true to say about it. So the regulators have given a green light to that sector. They don't jump all over a company. Everybody just says, hey, I'm in the cannabis space and the trend is up, and therefore if I make enough noise, investors will pile in. So that has made it really difficult for resource juniors to attract audiences and eyeballs. We now have this overhang of Trump's Make America Great Again policies, which seems to involve destroying the idea of globalized free trade, making enemies with all the allies. We already have this China and U.S. standoff from which there really is no exit short of Trump resigning and somebody else coming in and saying, okay, that was all just a reality show. Let's get back to business. And now we have this nonsense about escalating tariffs on Mexico unless Mexico stops immigration. I've never heard anything dumber. It would be impossible to measure that this has actually happened. So it's a very foolish thing. So the whole sense in the resource sector is for the macroeconomic global growth, we're not going to see higher copper prices, base metal prices. We're going to see lower metal prices, so that turns off everybody. As far as gold, all these things should actually be good for gold, but the audience that traditionally likes gold, that they're not really interested in buying gold because thumbs up for gold is a thumbs down for their hero Trump. And as for the real money out there, that should be buying gold to hedge against everything coming apart on a global scale, they're still willing to sit back and say, this will all come and go. This is not real. This is just a TV show. Don't be hasty. Don't start buying gold. But there may come a point where they say, this is hopeless. And then you'll see a tsunami of buying in the real physical gold market, and we'll get that uptrend going for the juniors. But waiting for that to happen, well, we've been waiting now since 2011, and it hasn't happened. So back in 2016, the producer of HowStreet.com, Tom Allen, and I sat down to talk about the plight of the junior resource sector. And there was plenty of media coverage of why gold was supposed to go higher, why the global economy is going to keep going, even though China's not growing at the former growth rate and that. But there wasn't really any channels out there that were talking about the discovery exploration junior, where the junior that was being talked about hadn't paid for that coverage in some form or other. And so we came up with this idea of Discovery Watch as a way to try and keep the flame of the candle flickering to show that this space still exists. We draw the Discovery Watch juniors from the several hundred companies in Kaiser Research Online that I've given a bottom fish fair or good speculative value rating. So Discovery Watch is a subset of that, which I have made available to my subscribers. I don't know which company is going to deliver the next discovery hole. I basically organize a couple hundred channels for my subscribers to watch and maybe jump in when something finally starts to happen. So anybody who looks at Discovery Watch as investment advice, they would be well advised to stop doing so, because we are merely showing a segment of the activity that's still going on out there involving real juniors trying to discover stuff in a climate where the audience is disappearing, where capital is becoming increasingly scarce, and where there has been a dearth of the kind of discoveries that send the stock up 1,000% and have everybody finally paying attention again. And we also look at the juniors which have a more advanced project, but where there's an interesting twist to the upside potential that goes beyond waiting for the metal price to go up as a result of forces that the junior cannot control. So to some degree, Discovery Watch is entertainment. It's for people to keep an eye on and to be in a position where when things finally start to happen, where the space finally starts to turn, they can turn to their professional investment advisor for, okay, now it's happening. How do I play this type of story? And Nevada Exploration Inc. is a classic example of this. The company has not really been backed by a powerful financial sector groups. It's had an innovative exploration tool, a hydrogeochemistry, where it measures groundwater for gold and other metal values, and it's generated the South Grass Valley project, and it's spent millions getting to a point where they have this lower plate altered system, a hydrogeothermal cell that has had Carlin-type fluids pushed through it. The goal is to now find where in this haystack the needle of a 5, 10, 20 million ounce gold deposit is located. And they took a break the past month or so, and they've now resumed drilling hole number 9, which is a 600-meter step out. And the market at this point has kind of given up, hoping that the next hole hits the discovery hole, especially since they've packaged this particular hole as really an information-gathering hole. They've moved as far right as they can, where the bedrock starts to plunge into the abyss, where even if you find something, you're never going to be able to mine it. They're hoping to understand how the structure behaves with regard to the stratigraphy, but also to measure the alluvial gravels and see if there's any gold that could be indicating a nearby deposit from which it has eroded. So this hole is going to be a deep hole. It's ongoing. The junior right now is selling off because of this general market mood that everything is doomed to failure until otherwise. But it is the kind of example of a Discovery Watch junior on which we are putting the spotlight. And if something does finally happen, they get lucky and hit into the deposit, well, then it's a completely different story. And so, yes, it is still worthwhile to keep watching these juniors. Something's going to happen somewhere, and even if you are reluctant at this point to place any bets yourself, go for the entertainment value of watching this sector struggle, and when it does turn around, enjoy the ride.
We'll have more with John Kaiser right after the break.
Hi, I'm Douglas Mason, President and CEO of Magnum Gold Corp, MGI and the TSX Venture Exchange. A 2015 drill program on the LH property intersected several high-grade gold intersections, including 11 meters of 20.66 grams per ton gold. Additional drill targets on the LH property have been identified by a 2018 drone airborne magnetic survey to further evaluate a pyrrhotite-enriched gold-bearing system. Please visit our website at magnumgoldcorp.com.
Cypress Development Corp's flagship lithium project is located just east of Albemarle's Silver Peak mine in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. A 12-hole exploration drill program for lithium-enriched claystone on Cypress's 100% controlled properties is now underway. Cypress Development Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the Pink's CYDVF, and on Frankfurt's C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with John Kaiser. John, in your Metals Investor Forum talk, you touched upon the possibility of Rare Earth Mania 2.0, which you also talked about on last week's Discovery Watch episode. Were there any Rare Earth juniors at the Metals Investor Forum worth watching?
Directly, there was no junior there pounding the table saying, we are a Rare Earth junior. However, one of them, Quebec Precious Metals, which was there to tell us about the Sakami deposit in the James Bay area, where the goal is to, hit Goldcorp's threshold of a couple of million ounces. Goldcorp is the big shareholder in the company. When talking to Normand Champigny about the other assets of the company, I rediscovered an old rare earth story that I had covered during Rare Earth Mania 1.0, which was in that 2010 to 2012 period. And that is the Kippawa project of that Matamak held, and in which Toyota spent a bunch of money and did a PEA on and worked on solving the critical problem with this type of deposit, which has more heavy rare earths than light rare earths, and for which the key is a mineral called eudialyte, which has this unfortunate habit that when you dissolve it in acid, it forms a gel, a silica gel, from which it is very difficult to pull your target metals, such as the rare earths, out of the solution into the, mixed oxide powder that then gets shipped off to the separation facility. Well, Quebec Precious Metals was formed last year through the merger of Canada Strategic Metals and Matamak Exploration, which was the underlying optioner of the Sakami project, and that's a sort of 4 to 6 gram per ton gold system. It doesn't have those flashy 30 gram plus 1 ounce plus type of intersections that get the market excited. It's sort of a real bread and butter system. It's got pretty good continuity, but they need to get this thing to maybe like half or 2/3 of the way to their goal. So they're in there this year doing a lot more drilling, down plunge, a long strike, and you're basically buying a junior which is trying to discover additional ounces for an existing gold system, but you get this 68% interest in the Kippawa project basically for free. And so that junior, even though everything is behaving doggishly right now, it's starting to trend up because investors realize, well, I'm buying this for the gold story. There is a good chance that all this stuff on the big picture scene will finally unleash gold and turn it into a massive breakout, in which case all these types of gold juniors where they already have ounces in the ground, they become the go-to story for everybody who's on the sidelines. But if this standoff between China and the United States does not get resolved, and there isn't any special reason short of Trump resigning and letting somebody else come in there and enable everybody to back off from this trade war and Huawei technology situation, we're going to have probably a rare earth shortage down the road. So if that should happen, well, then that Kippawa project, that 68% stake that's buried inside of Quebec Precious Metals, all of a sudden, that becomes very important again. So in addition to watching Quebec Precious Metals for its Sakami project, which we've talked about in an earlier episode, I would say also keep an eye on the old Kippawa project. One reason that project stalled was the social license relationship with the First Nations in the area. That was not handled well. The old management is gone. The new management is very sensitive to these issues. So behind the scenes, there's work being done to see if this project can be brought back to life. And if we do get the kind of spike in rare earth prices that China shutting down its supply to the rest of the world would cause, projects like this could very easily end up in the money, and we would have a rare earth mania 2.0 happening, probably running for a lot longer than the previous one, because that one was in the context of free trade, globalized free trade, WTO rulings, everybody obeying that. Now we're in a situation where all that stuff has been collapsed. Nobody pays attention to these rules. It's all now just a power struggle. And in the case of China and the United States, this could all deteriorate very badly, in which case Rare Earth Mania 2.0 really takes off, and the media seems to love it. There's been so many articles about it in the last while. So I'm brushing up, going through all my old stuff and getting on top of what rare earth deposits are still out there in these juniors, hidden away, similar to what we have with Quebec Precious Metals and Kippawa.
We'll have more with John Kaiser right after the break.
Aven Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Aven's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avenresources.com.
I'm Douglas Mason, CEO of Naturally Splendid, symbol NSP on the TSX Venture Exchange. Naturally Splendid is a biotechnology and consumer products company focused on the global cannabis and health markets. Naturally Splendid is expanding distribution in this rapidly growing market with products currently in Canada, the USA, South Korea, Germany, and Australia. To view our comprehensive company presentation and for more information, please visit our website at naturallysplendid.com.
Welcome back. We're chatting with John Kaiser. John, West Haven Ventures has resumed drilling on its Shovel Nose project in the Spence's Bridge Gold Belt. Has this discovery stalled, or is it still unfolding?
In a sense, it stalled, because a couple of weeks ago, they put out the results for the final 3 holes of this season, 6, 7, and 8. And in the case of number 8, they never hit the vein that they thought they were going to hit. That was supposed to be offset to the northeast by a fault that pushed the rocks in that direction sideways. Instead, there was this andesite which had swallowed up the parallel zone 2 vein a little bit farther north. It was also present here. So where that offset vein number 1 was supposed to be, there was rocks that do not host, and it's clearly post mineral faulting. The other thing that they finally conceded was, okay, our hopes that the vein, this northwest-southeast trending vein, has simply been faulted to the east and continues on. It's back to the original speculation that it's actually been faulted up, and what hole 19 intersected at the end of last season that disappointed everybody. It hit the base of the system, and in these low sulfidation epithermal systems, the bonanza zones have a vertical constraint, and so the rich part that they were encountering with the holes in the south zone with hole 14 and 15, it has been lifted up into the sky and eroded away, and it's gone. However, the strike continues for 3 more kilometers to the south. They will be resuming drilling in June next week, and they will be stepping out there hoping to find it, because the upwards displacement of the zone may very well have just been a local displacement. The resistivity low, suggesting the quartz vein continues on to the south. So their goal will be now to go down a long strike, and this will be to some degree blind drilling to figure out what the geology is, try and pick up this vein, and then if they succeed in that, well, then we have all this running room to the south. They'll also be going back and doing some infill to sort out, try and understand the mineralization controls better within the south zone itself, and they will be looking at all these other resistivity low trends, magnetic low trends on the property, and seeing if there are other similar high-grade gold-silver systems to be found through, initial drilling during the summer.
John, thank you so much for the update.
You're welcome, Jim.
I've been speaking with John Kaiser, his website, kaiserresearch.com. I'm Jim Goddard.
Comments made on Discovery Watch are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any manner whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Archived online at howstreet.com. Discovery Watch is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.